Let me ask you something most people are too afraid to say out loud. Do you feel like your bank account is a direct reflection of your standing with God? I need you to hear this right now. Your debt is not a sign of God's abandonment. It is a wilderness season designed to rebuild your trust in His provision. Maybe you feel like a failure. Maybe you feel like a fraud. Maybe you feel like a prisoner in your own home. You check the mailbox, and your heart sinks at every envelope. You pretend everything is fine when your friends suggest dinner. You calculate the interest in your head while trying to pray. You wonder if God has stopped listening because you cannot handle your money. You feel like a hypocrite sitting in the church pew. This video will change how you see your struggle. It will show you that God is not finished with you. Your value is not found in a number. It is found in a person. Let us start with the truth. No one wants to say out loud. Shame is the loudest voice in a house with debt. It tells you that you are a bad Christian. It tells you that you have failed your family. You carry this weight alone because you think everyone else is winning. You see the smiles on Sunday morning, and you feel invisible. You think your secret would destroy your reputation. So you keep the lights off and the curtains closed. But the Bible speaks directly to the person in the red. It does not look away from your struggle. In the book of Proverbs, chapter 22, verse 7, the text says, "The borrower is slave to the lender." God calls it slavery because He knows how it feels. He knows it wakes you up at 3 in the morning. He knows it makes your chest feel tight. God does not want slaves. He wants sons and daughters. The world says you are what you own. The world says your worth is your net worth. But God says your worth was settled at the cross. You were bought with a price. That price was the blood of Jesus Christ. That means you are already debt-free in the kingdom of heaven. The financial struggle you see is a temporary shadow. It is a trial, not a final judgment. Think of it like this. A gold refiner uses heat to remove impurities. The heat is not there to destroy the gold. The heat is there to make the gold pure. Your financial pressure is a season of heat. God is using this to show you what you truly rely on. He is stripping away the false security of money. He is replacing it with the solid rock of His presence. If you feel like you are drowning, remember the disciples. They were in a boat during a massive storm. They were professional fishermen, but they were terrified. They thought they were going to die while Jesus slept. They cried out because they felt abandoned. But Jesus was in the boat the entire time. The storm did not mean He was gone. The storm was the place where they saw His power. Your debt is your storm. You might feel like Jesus is sleeping. You might feel like He does not care about your bills. But He is in the boat with you. He sees the late notices. He sees the bank statements. He is not judging you for the wind and the waves. He is waiting for you to call on Him. This message is your invitation to come out of the dark. We are going to look at 7 specific truths from the Bible. These truths will help you break the cycle of shame. They will give you a roadmap for your spirit and your wallet. You do not have to hide anymore. The door to your restoration is open today. Number 1. Financial debt is a heavy weight on the soul. It creates a barrier between you and your calling. Here is what nobody tells you. Financial struggle is often a spiritual battleground. It is not just about numbers and interest rates. It is about who owns your heart and your peace. You cannot fix a spiritual crisis with only a side hustle. You sit at the kitchen table late at night. The screen of your laptop glows in the dark room. You have 3 different spreadsheets open at once. You look at your credit card balance again. It feels like a mountain you cannot climb. You decide to work every single Saturday. You tell your family this is for them, but you are really doing it for the bank. You miss your daughter's game on the weekend. You arrive late to every family dinner. You are physically present, but your mind is elsewhere. Your thoughts are always on the interest rate. You are working harder than you ever have, yet you feel further behind than ever. Your soul feels thin and brittle. You are chasing a relief that never comes. Sound familiar? The Bible speaks to this exact feeling of empty effort. In the book of Haggai, chapter 1, verse 6, the text describes a frustrating cycle. It says, "You have sown much, but you bring in little." It says you eat, but you do not have enough. You drink, but you are not filled. Most importantly, it says, "He who earns wages puts them into a bag with holes." That is what debt feels like. It is a bag with holes. No matter how much you pour in, it leaks out. You are running a race you cannot win. God points this out because He wants you to stop. He wants you to see that your effort alone is not enough. You are trying to fill a hole that only His grace can seal. Nehemiah understood this crisis of debt very clearly. In the book of Nehemiah, chapter 5, the people of Israel were crying out. They were in deep debt while trying to build God's wall. They were losing their fields and their homes. They were even losing their children to their creditors. They were supposed to be building a kingdom. Instead, they were becoming slaves to their own people. Nehemiah did not just tell them to work harder. He did not tell them to find a better job. He identified the debt as a spiritual problem. He addressed the lack of compassion and the focus on greed. He called the people back to the heart of God. He knew that the wall would never be finished if the builders were in chains. Your debt is a chain that keeps you from building your wall. It keeps you from the mission God has for your life. You cannot give generously when you are in bondage. You cannot serve freely when you are worried about the next payment. God wants to break that chain today. He wants to show you that He is the owner of all things. Your bank account does not define your future. His promise defines your future. It is time to stop hiding the struggle from the Lord. It is time to admit that the bag has holes. You cannot fix the holes with more money. You fix the holes with more of Him. This is the first step toward your freedom. You must recognize that the battle is spiritual. Your debt is a symptom. Your heart is the target. Number 2, the silent prison of isolation, and why keeping your debt a secret is killing your spirit. Let's be honest about the power of a secret. Shame dies in the light. You hear the mailbox lid clatter. You wait until the mail carrier drives away. You walk to the curb with a heavy heart. You see the window envelopes with the red ink. You do not open them. You slide them into a kitchen drawer. You hide them under the junk mail. Your spouse asks if the bill arrived. You say you have not checked. You are lying to protect them. But really, you are lying to protect yourself. You avoid the Sunday lunch at the diner. You make up an excuse about a headache. You sit at home alone instead. You feel like a ghost in your own life. Every phone call from an unknown number feels like a threat. You let it go to voicemail. You never listen to the message. You think the silence is safety. But the silence is actually a cage. You go to the grocery store. You scan the ones slowly. You are doing math in your head. You worry the card will be declined. You have a backup card ready. You know that card is almost full too. You stand in line with a fake smile. You hope no one from church sees you. You are exhausted from the acting. You are tired of the mask. You want to tell someone, but you think they will judge you. You think they will think less of your faith. You believe you are the only one struggling. You imagine everyone else has a perfect life. This makes the walls of your prison thicker. You are suffocating in the quiet. You need a way out. Maybe that is you. The Bible tells us that darkness is where shame grows. In the book of James, chapter 5, verse 16, the text is clear. It says to confess your sins to one another. It says to pray for one another so that you may be healed. Debt is not always a sin, but it is always a burden. When you keep a burden in the dark, it gets heavier. When you bring it into the light, it starts to lose its power. Healing does not start with a bank deposit. It starts with a conversation. You cannot be healed from what you are hiding. The text in Galatians chapter 6, verse 2 is very clear. It says to bear one another's burdens. It says, this fulfills the law of Christ. You cannot fulfill the law if you refuse to share the weight. God did not design you to carry a mountain alone. He designed the church to be a community of help. When you hide your debt, you rob others of the chance to obey God. You are trying to be your own savior, but you were never meant to be. Look at the story of the widow in the book of 2 Kings, chapter 4. She was in a desperate situation. Her husband was dead, and she was in deep debt. The creditor was coming to take her 2 sons as slaves. She was terrified, and she was alone. But she did not stay quiet. She went to the prophet Elisha. She admitted her poverty. She exposed her shame to a man of God. Elisha did not judge her. He did not lecture her on her spending. He gave her a plan. He told her to go to her neighbors. He told her to ask for empty jars. She had to walk to every door in her street. She had to admit she had nothing. Every empty jar was a confession of her need. And God filled every single one of those jars with oil. She paid her debts because she was willing to be seen in her hunger. The oil did not flow until the jars were collected. The jars were not collected until she spoke up. Your breakthrough is waiting on your honesty. Your neighbors might have the jars you need, but you have to ask. Your secret is a prison. Your story is a bridge. Number 3, the principle of the small start and why God values your faithfulness over your volume. Let me say this straight. God is not looking at the size of your payment. He is looking at the state of your heart. Most people stay in debt because they are waiting for a miracle. They are waiting for a massive check in the mail. They are waiting for a promotion. That hasn't happened yet. They think that small steps do not count. You sit at your kitchen table with $20 in your hand. You look at a credit card bill for $5,000. You feel a wave of intense embarrassment. You think to yourself, that $20 is nothing. You think it is like trying to put out a forest fire with a cup of water. So, you do not pay it. Instead, you go out and buy a fast food meal. You spend the money on something. That disappears in 10 minutes. You do this because you want to feel something other than failure. You want a small moment of control. You tell yourself that you will start paying when you have real money. You tell yourself that the bank will not even notice $20. But you are not just hiding money from the bank. You are hiding your potential from God. You are waiting for a harvest you never planted. You are ignoring the seed because the seed is small. You have been there. The Bible tells us not to despise small beginnings. In the book of Zechariah, chapter 4, verse 10, the text asks a question. It asks, who has despised the day of small things? God loves small things. He loves things that start as a mustard seed. He loves things that start in a manger. When you take that $20 and you pay the bill, you are making a declaration. You are telling the spirit of debt that it no longer owns your choices. You are telling God that you are a faithful steward of the little. You are practicing the discipline of the finish line. Think about the boy with the lunch in the gospel. In John chapter 6, verse 9, the disciples are facing a massive problem. They have 5,000 hungry men to feed. They have no money and no food. Then a young boy comes forward. He has 5 small barley loaves. He has 2 small fish. This was not a feast. This was barely a snack for one child. Andrew asked the question you often ask. He said, "What are they among so many?" The disciples saw the gap between the need and the resource. They saw the volume. But Jesus saw the faithfulness. The boy did not wait until he had a grocery store. He simply gave what he had. He put his small start into the hands of Jesus Christ. And Jesus did something amazing. He did not just give the boy a better lunch. He blessed the small thing. He broke it and he multiplied it. He fed 5,000 men and thousands of women and children. And at the end, there were 12 baskets of leftovers. The miracle did not start with a full table. The miracle started with a small, embarrassing gift. If you have $5, give it to the debt. If you have 10 minutes, spend it on your budget. Do not wait for the big win to be faithful. God can multiply. A small payment, just like He multiplied the fish. He can make your money stretch in ways that do not make sense. On paper, He can give you favor with a creditor. He can open a door for a small side job. But He usually waits for you to move first. He wants to see if you will trust Him with the scrap. He wants to see if you will honor Him in the trenches. The world tells you that small steps are a waste of time. The world says, go big or go home. But God says, go small and be faithful. He is the God of the increment. He is the God of the daily bread. He is the God who watches the widow's mite more than the rich man's gold. Your $20 is a weapon of war when it is placed in His hands. It is a sign that you are coming out of the cave. It is a sign that you are ready for the more. So the question is not how much you have. The question is whose hands are holding it. Number 4, the high cost of a false image and how the spirit of comparison keeps your bank account empty. Here is what nobody tells you. You are not just spending money. You are spending your peace to buy an impression. Most of our debt is not born from necessity. It is born from the fear of looking like we are falling behind. You scroll through your phone late at night. You see a photo of a friend on a beach. You see the new kitchen renovation of a cousin. You feel a sudden, sharp pang of inadequacy. You look at your own faded carpet. You look at your old appliances. Suddenly, what you have is no longer enough. You start a project you did not plan. You put the materials on a credit card. You tell yourself it is an investment, but you are really just trying to keep up. You want to post your own photo. You want the likes and the comments. You want people to think you are blessed. You buy clothes you do not need for a party you do not even want to attend. You swipe the card again. You feel a brief rush of power. Then you feel the long, cold shiver of regret. You are building a life for an audience that does not truly care. You are bankrupting your future to impress people you do not even like. You are living a lie, and the interest on that lie is starting to compound. Maybe that is you. The Bible warns us about the danger of pretending. In the book of Proverbs, chapter 13, verse 7, the text offers a sober observation. It says one person pretends to be rich, yet has nothing. Another pretends to be poor, yet has great wealth. This is the divine contrast. The world rewards the appearance of success. God rewards the reality of stewardship. When you pretend to have what God has not yet given, you are moving ahead of His timing. You are trying to steal a blessing from the future. But a stolen blessing always comes with a curse. That curse is the anxiety of being found out. It is the exhaustion of maintaining the facade. Think about Gehazi, the servant of the prophet Elisha. In the book of 2 Kings chapter 5, we see a man who wanted the image of wealth. A great commander named Naaman had just been healed of leprosy. Naaman offered Elisha expensive gifts of silver and fine clothing. Elisha refused the gifts because he wanted God to have the glory. But Gehazi could not stand to see that wealth walk away. He chased after Naaman's chariot. He lied and said Elisha had changed his mind. He took 2 talents of silver and 2 changes of clothes. He hid them in his house. He thought he had moved up in the world. He thought he finally looked the part of a successful man. But he didn't realize he had traded his health for his wardrobe. When he stood before Elisha, the prophet knew. The leprosy that had left Naaman clung to Gehazi instead. He got the silver, but he lost his peace. He got the clothes, but he lost his future. You might not have leprosy, but you have the stress of the secret. You have the anxiety of the swipe. You are chasing the silver and the clothes of your neighbors. You are letting the spirit of comparison drive your car. You are letting it choose your house. But that spirit is a cruel master. It will never tell you that. Number 5, the courage of an open book. Seeking wise counsel is your bridge to freedom. Let's start with the truth. No one wants to say out loud, pride is the silent partner of poverty. It tells you that you can handle this on your own. It tells you that asking for help is a sign of weakness. But the truth is the opposite. Asking for help is the ultimate sign of strength. You have a friend who is good with numbers. You have a mentor at church who has walked this path before. You think about calling them every Tuesday night. You pick up your phone. You look at their name in your contacts. You imagine the conversation. You picture them looking at your credit card statements. You see the look of disappointment on their face. You think they will judge your expensive coffee habit. You think they will wonder how you got so lost. You imagine the shame of admit you have no savings. You worry they will tell everyone else in the church. So, you put the phone back on the nightstand. You tell yourself you will figure it out alone. You buy a book on budgeting instead. You read 3 pages and you stop. You go back to the same habits. You are stuck in a loop of your own making. You are trying to solve a problem with the same mind that created it. You are trying to fix a leak while standing in the water. You need someone on the outside to pull you out. You need someone who is not drowning to reach down. You are tired of being the only one who knows the truth. You know this feeling. The Bible makes a promise about seeking advice. In the book of Proverbs, chapter 15, verse 22, the text is clear. It says, "Without counsel, plans go wrong, but in the multitude of counselors, they are established." You were never meant to have all the answers. God puts people in your life to be His hands and feet. He uses the wisdom of the community to guide His children. If you are walking in the dark, you do not need more willpower. You need someone with a flashlight. Consider the story of Moses in the book of Exodus, chapter 18. Moses was the leader of millions of people. He was a man who talked to God face to face on the mountain, yet he was drowning in his daily work. He sat from morning until evening trying to settle everyone's problems. He was exhausted. He was frustrated. His father-in-law, Jethro, saw the struggle. Jethro did not stay quiet. He told Moses that what he was doing was not good. He warned him that he would wear himself out. Jethro gave him a specific plan to delegate the load. Moses was the man of God, but he listened to the advice. He did not let his position stop his ears. He did not say he already knew everything. He chose humility over burnout. He allowed another person to see his struggle and offer a solution. Your Jethro might be a professional credit counselor. They might be a wise elder in your congregation. They might be a friend who has a debt-free story. Whoever they are, God has placed them in your path for a reason. You do not have to be the hero of your own story. You just have to be the one who is willing to listen. The moment you open the book and show the numbers, the secret loses its grip. The air becomes easier to breathe. You realize you are not the first person to make a mistake. You are just the first one in your house to admit it. You cannot fix what you will not face. You cannot manage what you will not measure. God is inviting you to step into the light of community. He is inviting you to drop the mask of perfection. There is grace for your past and wisdom for your future. But that wisdom often comes through the voice of another person. Stop trying to carry the whole mountain by yourself. Humility is the price of progress. Pride is the cost of the prison. Number 6, the power of a satisfied soul, and how contentment acts as a shield against the spirit of lack. Let me say this straight. You cannot out-earn a heart that is never satisfied. You get the raise you prayed for. You see the extra money in your account. You spend the afternoon looking at new furniture online. You tell the salesperson to put it on your card. You justify the purchase because you worked so hard. Suddenly, the extra money is already gone. You are back in the same tight spot. You feel like you are chasing a horizon. No matter how fast you run, it stays out of reach. Your hunger grows faster than your income. You are trying to fill a spiritual hole with physical things. It never works. You are exhausted from the pursuit. You look at your closet and see nothing to wear. You look at your pantry and see nothing to eat. This is not a lack of resources. This is a lack of vision. You are looking at what you miss. You are ignoring what you have. You walk through the mall and feel incomplete. Every sign tells you that you need more. You feel a physical craving for a new thing. You tell yourself this will be the last one. You say this will finally make you happy. But the glow fades before you get home. The debt follows you home like a shadow. It sits on your chest while you sleep. You are trading your freedom for a temporary fix. You are giving away your peace for a box. You have been there. The Bible teaches us a secret about our desires. In the book of Philippians, chapter 4, verse 11, the text says something powerful. The Apostle Paul says he has learned to be content in any state. This means your joy does not have to wait for your debt to disappear. You can find peace right now, in the middle of the struggle. Contentment is a muscle you build through practice. It is not something you feel. It is something you choose. If you have Christ, you already have everything you need. This truth changes how you look at the store window. It turns your not enough into plenty through his strength. Paul was a man who lived through extremes of lack and plenty. He was beaten and shipwrecked and left for dead. He was bitten by snakes and hated by his own people. He wrote about his satisfaction while sitting in a cold prison cell. He did not have a bank account or a comfortable bed. He did not have a closet full of expensive clothes. Yet, he was the most satisfied man in the world. He was not waiting for his prison door to open to be happy. He was already free in his heart, because he was hidden in Christ. He knew that a prison cell could not steal his joy, and a palace could not increase it. His peace was not for sale. He was not looking at his neighbors' lives. He was looking at his master's face. He knew that God was his ultimate provider. When you practice contentment, you stop the bleeding in your budget. You stop looking for happiness in a shopping bag. You start seeing the blessings you already have. You realize your bed is soft. You realize your food is warm. You start to see that God has already provided for your needs. He just has not provided for your greed. Contentment is the only thing that breaks the cycle of debt. It is the only way to stay free once the bills are paid. It is a decision you make every morning. You tell the Lord that He is enough. You tell the enemy that you are full. You refuse to be a slave to the next thing. You choose to be a child of the King. The King owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. He has everything you require. You can rest in His shadow. You can stop the race. You can finally breathe. Enough. Number 7. The discipline of the middle. You are not stuck. You are in training for the increase. Here is what nobody tells you about the breakthrough. It usually looks like a slow crawl before it looks like a sudden flight. Most people quit when the excitement of the start wears off. They quit when the reality of the work sets in. You have been following the plan for 3 months now. You stopped the random spending on your phone. You canceled the 3 streaming services. You never watch. You have been cooking every single meal at home in your own kitchen. You look at your bank app. On a Friday afternoon, you see that the balance has only dropped by $60. You feel a sudden surge of deep exhaustion. You feel like the effort is not worth the outcome. You look at the years of debt still ahead of you. You feel like you are trying to empty the ocean with a spoon. You see your neighbor pull up in a brand new truck. You feel a familiar sting in your chest. You wonder why God is blessing people who do not even pray. You wonder if He has forgotten your secret sacrifice. You want to go out and buy something expensive tonight. You just want to feel like a normal person for 1 hour. You are tired of the discipline. You are tired of saying no to your children. You feel like you are walking through a desert. You see no signs of rain on the horizon. The Bible speaks to the person who is tired of the grind. In the book of Galatians, chapter 6, verse 9, the text gives a specific command. It says, "Let us not grow weary while doing good." Then it gives a specific promise. It says, "For in due season we shall reap if we do not lose heart." Notice the condition. The harvest is not based on your speed. The harvest is based on your endurance. God is watching your weary hands. He is recording every meal you cooked at home. He is counting every no you said to your flesh. He is more interested in the character you are building than the debt you are paying. The debt is disappearing slowly, but your faith is growing rapidly. Joseph understood the weight of the middle season perfectly. In the book of Genesis, we see a young man with a massive dream. God promised him that he would be a leader. But then he was sold into slavery by his own brothers. He spent years serving in a house that was not his own. Then he was falsely accused and thrown into a dark dungeon. He spent years in prison for a crime he did not commit. He helped a man get out of jail and asked to be remembered. But the man forgot him for 2 more long years. Joseph was 17 when he had the dream. He was 30 when he stood before Pharaoh. That is 13 years of silence. 13 years of being a slave and a prisoner. He did not see the palace from the pit. He did not see the throne from the prison cell. But he remained faithful in the small tasks of the jail. He did not grow bitter. He did not give up on the God of the promise. He worked in the trenches until the due season arrived. And when it arrived, it moved fast. He went from the dungeon to the second highest office in Egypt in a single day. Your one day is coming, but you have to stay in the field today. Do not look at the neighbor's truck. Look at the Master's track record. He has never failed to bring a harvest to a faithful sower. Your $60 payment is a seed. Your discipline is the water. Your prayers are the sunlight. You might not see the growth underground yet, but the roots are getting deeper. You are becoming a person who can handle wealth without being owned by it. You are becoming a steward who God can trust with the much. The desert is not a graveyard. It is a training ground. So the question is not how long the road is. The question is, who is walking the road with you? You did not come to this video by accident. God has been chasing you with His love. You thought the debt was a wall, but He is using it as a bridge. You are not defined by what you owe. You are defined by the one who owns you. You were not abandoned in this wilderness. You were protected from a life of self-reliance. You came here feeling like a prisoner to a number. I want you to leave knowing you are a son or daughter. Your identity was settled 2,000 years ago. It was settled on a hill called Calvary. That is a debt that was paid in full. You are already rich in the things of the Spirit. I am talking directly to the person who is hiding. I am speaking to the one who is tired. I see you sitting at that kitchen table tonight. I know you are weary from the acting. You are exhausted from the fake smiles. You are tired of pretending you have it all together. You look at your children, and you feel like a fraud. You look in the mirror, and you feel ashamed. You think your secret is a death sentence for your faith. But I have a message for you. God is not looking for your perfection. He is looking for your honesty. He is not moved by your bank balance. He is moved by your broken spirit. He sees the stack of bills in the drawer. He sees the tears you cry in the shower. He is not looking down on you. He is leaning in toward you. You have carried this mountain for too long. You were never built to handle this alone. Stop running from the light. The darkness is where the enemy speaks the loudest. The darkness is where the lies feel like truth. But the light is where the healing begins. God is calling you to a new place. It is a place of surrender. It is a place where you stop trying to save yourself. It is a place where you let Him be God. He is the God of the second, two, chance. He is the God of the widow's oil. He is the God of the impossible breakthrough. He can do more in a blank moment than you can in a decade. But He wants your heart first. He wants your trust in the middle of the mess. He has not moved. He is right there. And He wants you closer than you have ever been. He is standing in the room with you right now. He is not waiting for the bills to be paid. He is waiting for the door to be opened. Open your mouth and talk to Him today. Tell Him the numbers you have been hiding. Tell Him the fear that keeps you awake. He already knows. He just wants to hear it from you. He wants to take the weight off your shoulders. He wants to give you a peace that passes understanding. You can sleep tonight. You can breathe again. You can walk with your head held high, not because you are rich, but because you are His. The debt is a season. His love is an eternity. The door is open.